Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine, and today we are doing a review on the first test between South Africa A versus West Indies A, day two. We did a review yesterday of day one, explaining certain situations with regards to the game, giving an overview of the game and what took place with that. Today I watched the day two, and it is a majority of the conversation is obviously going to be around our bowling attack and our bowlers because they actually bowled throughout the day, almost the entire day they bowled. Um, I think they just faced 6 overs, or sorry, 2 overs at the end with regards to South Africa second innings of batting. So majority of today's conversation is going to go around our bowlers and our bowling attack and which players did well. 3 overs at the end there from South Africa that they faced in their second innings. But before we get going, before we get started, I would like you guys to please subscribe to the channel. Please click that notification bell for all future videos. That's very important that you do so. And also download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The latest issue is on BMT. We are busy with the next issue for this particular month that will be coming out at the end of this month. We are in the process of putting that together at the moment. So go ahead and download and subscribe and get your free magazine. It will give you the magazine is our our one place that we are trying to give information, exclusive information, and help you guys take your cricketing support to the next level. And it's for anyone that is trying to improve their cricket knowledge, trying to get a better understanding of the game, etc. And also to hear what coaches, what players are actually saying about certain aspects of cricket. We theme the magazine around specific topics, and we try and stick to that theme with every single issue. So every one that we've done so far, there's something that you can learn from it. Literally, we as a fan base are continuously learning about this game. And if you go right back to the back issues and read all of them, there's always something in there, gems in there that can really take your knowledge or the way you think about the game to the next level. So go and get your copy. Like I said, it costs you nothing to become a subscriber and getting your issues to your inbox every single month. Link on the screen as well as in the description. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to discussing this with you guys. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with South Africa A versus the West Indies A. First test, unofficial test, day two. So I'm going to talk through the scorecard for those people that haven't had the opportunity to maybe watch the game. I'm going to give you a quick overview of everything that took place in this particular match. So we're going to start off with what happened with the West Indies. So the bulk of their runs today, or overall in their first innings, was scored by Tegner and Shandapal. He got 78 of 150 balls, and as well as Kavem Hodge, 73 of 151 balls. Now, that balls tally over there will obviously tell you exactly how the pitch is playing. So that is something that you guys will give an indication of how the pitch is playing, and that is not necessarily very easy to bat on. It has caused some problems for the opposition to score when it comes to scoring freely. If you go through the whole list, there aren't many strike rates above 100 over here for the West Indies either. Akeem Jordan also caused a lot of problems for South Africa with his 40 or 50, as well as Kevin Sinclair, also 39 or 47, frustrated South Africa's bowlers significantly throughout the day. Huddersfield Yoon was the most expensive bowler for South Africa, although he did take 2 wickets. He went for 92 runs in his 21 overs that he bowled, which so you can see that these bowlers are actually being put under the pump with regards to the amount of overs they're bowling. They're really going and they're really doing a lot of work, etc. When it comes to that. Duan Olafir only bowled 12 overs today. Apparently, he did pick up an injury, I think, and he was off the field for some time. So that's why we never really saw him come back into to bowl. Dane Pitt picked up 2 wickets for 60. He's got these wickets at the end over there. This, especially, particularly his final wicket was beautiful. The way he set up um, that wicket was phenomenal. Got a lot of turn and kind of created the stumping for Clyde Fontaine to get their inform Akeem Jordan out. Um, and obviously put South Africa and close out their innings as well. So that was a brilliant wicket. Um, but the highlight and the main bowler for the day was definitely Tsepe Moreki. I think he bowled beautifully today. He took 3 wickets for 56 runs with an economy of 2.95, and he bowled 19 overs. He really kept his lines consistently in a good position. Either this getting good seam movement and movement of the pitch, putting it in good areas, beating the bat consistently as well. So I think he deserves some plaudits today for the way he bowled. Uh, Alas, it's unfortunate that he couldn't take more than 3 wickets. I think he's still waiting. He's still waiting for the opportunity to get his first class fifer in all or his first fifer in all formats of cricket, and it's something that we're still waiting to see. But I think he bowled well today, and it was good to see that that took place. Neil Brandt got to bowl 9 overs as well today. He took 1 wicket for 26. Shows what the reason why they also wanted to pick him, because he's a spin bowling option, and that is something that I think the coaches had in mind when selecting him as well, because you have then an opening batter that can also add overs to the game, and you can obviously then maybe perhaps pick another extra batter in your team if you need to, if you want to lengthen the tail. Mkhlali Mapungwana got some 9 overs under his belt as well. He took 1 wicket for 35. He looked decent today. I'm obviously getting that bounce that we know that he can get. But ultimately, it was the West Indies' day today with the bat. They scored 314 for 9 declared, and they went into a lead of 27 runs. South Africa are knocked down 3, so they currently trail by 24 runs and will start their second innings tomorrow. They'll continue their second innings, and they will aim to obviously chase down the total that was set and try to go into the lead. I do think that the approach needs to be, if they want to win this match, of course, then the approach needs to be a little bit more aggressive and attacking to try and score bulk of the runs in the first session. This will put the pressure back on the West Indies, and it will make it hard for them to come back into the game. And then South Africa can obviously take a hold of that match. In the first 2 sessions, they can really, in the first 2 sessions, if they can get a bulk and majority of the runs in the match and then go into the lead, that will be brilliant from a South African point of view. If they have because that will be able to set them up to score big total on the day. That should be the aim. There are still 2 days left of this match, so by no means is it over. And the aim would be first 3 sessions, get as many get as many runs on the board as possible, and get yourself into the lead, as far in the lead as possible. And then you still have 1 session to maybe try and get a couple of wickets before day the final day. The chances of that, though, um, we'll have to see how the approach is. We'll know by the 10th, 15th over mark what South Africa's mentality or approach is going to be in this match, and what they are going to be aiming for. We'll be able to know by the intent shown by the batters. So I am a bit excited to see that, and see if the batters that did well in the first innings, like Tony DeZorzi, Keegan Peterson, David Bedingham, Clyde Fontaine. Those are the guys that got half centuries. It will be very interesting to see if the rest of the guys can now step up, and whether those guys can now also try and score an even bigger total in the second innings. We want these players to be able to get as much time in the middle as possible, and show us why they were selected, show us they play with freedom against a decent bowling unit, I think, from the West Indies. Matt 92 says, are the tickets for the test series against India on sale? Yes, it is. The last time I checked. Burbick says, hi, thank you for the show. Does anyone know if Brendan Steedman will be available for the New Zealand test series? At the moment, I think he's injured, as far as I know. That's the last thing that I've seen, um, that he is injured. So let me just double check that for you guys quickly. I'll just do a quick search. So we won't. I don't know what will happen with him, if there's still an opportunity for him to get into the side. The last game he played was on the 11th of November. Um, so he played two first class games. So he is probably back from fitness now, I think. He's back to full fitness again, and playing again. Um, he didn't play the entire List A competition for Boland. But he's played a couple of games on the trot now, so he's back. I don't know if he'll be part of the SA side. We'll have to wait and see. His last first class game was a decent one, for Boland. He took 4 for 60 and 1 for 27. And yeah, we would obviously like to see him back to his best again, swinging the ball, new ball, and making it hard for openers to settle in. Burbick says, I hope Dwan is okay. Dovik says, do we think Neil Brandt could operate as a main spinner? Watching him today, he gave me Paul Harris vibes. Um, yeah, I mean, I think he does probably rate himself as, with the ball. Obviously, batting is his first his focus, I think. And but that option is great to have. He's not just a part-time spinner, in my opinion. I mean, he does take wickets in domestic cricket, as well as score runs. So it is very interesting to see how we've been utilizing him, and that is an option at the top of the order. I think it is a good weapon to have. Verigosa says, really impressed with what I saw from Pongwana today. Looks like he has a lots of potential with the ball. Yeah, I think what excites me the most about Mapungwana is actually his ability with the bat. That has always excited me with regards to him as a player. Every time I watched Western Province play, he's impressed me with his approach and his mentality when he bats. That's the main thing for me. His bowling, look, he is a good bowler. I'm not denying that, but he hasn't necessarily had consistent spells with the ball, where he's bowled in every single game that he's played. So there is a lot of work, I feel, to do still with his bowling. And like you say, potential. That's the key word, because I do think that he still has potential to improve his bowling and become a better bowler. But I don't want that to happen at the expense of his batting, because I think that his batting ability is what really made me um, pay attention to him as a player. It was his batting performances that I saw in warm-up games and for Western Province that really made me say, "Hey, wait a minute! This is a decent player, someone that we need to earmark for the future, in my opinion." Burger says, Khalid, do you think SA will pick a debuting player or debut player, debutant as a captain for New Zealand series? Having Keegan and not picking him as a captain indicates that it probably will be the case. I don't know what is happening with Dean Alga and where he is in the pecking order with regards to the test side at the moment. We'll have to wait and see. For We'll have to wait and see for this India series what happens. I'm not 100% sure where he stands, where things stand with regards to him. Um, we'll have to wait and see. I know he's currently playing 4-day cricket for the Titans. Bowling looks too weak. This West Indies side managed to score 300 plus. Neil will be captain in the New Zealand tour. Lorenzo says Algo will be captain. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do with regards to that. Um, and whether Alga will or whoever it might be, because of Coach Shukri Conrad's words about this SAA side and that it is with an eye on the New Zealand tour, and he picked a squad that he feels will most likely um, be guys to look out for the New Zealand tour. That makes me think that perhaps Neil Brandt, if he's in that squad, could be captain for that tour. That's if Dean Alga doesn't play. So we don't know what's going to be happening with Dean Alga, and where he's sitting at and where things stand with regards to him. We'll have to wait and see. For this India series will tell us a lot on certain players and where Coach Shukri's mentality is with regards to the test setup. So I'm waiting in anticipation to see what's going to be happening with the India's test squad when that gets announced. Burbick says, who are the other spin options available for New Zealand? Bob, Brandt, and Pitt. Van Berg, I don't see Van Berg coming into the side. At the moment, those are the options that we have for that New Zealand tour, the ones that have been selected. Um, I don't see necessarily anyone else at the moment. Lorenzo, surely Khalid Alga goes nowhere. Khalid, I mean, he was for years our best batter after all the main guys retired. I feel Alga should be there for a few years still, just to help all the youngsters as well. I agree with you. Um, I agree that Alga should be there. Um, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens with regards to Dean Alga. So, I mean, I do agree that having Alga's experience and helping the younger guys' blood into the team is vital for the side, and vital for the environment, to help that transitional phase from domestic cricket into international cricket. I think he's doing a great job at the Titans, leading by example when it comes to the younger guys in the Titan side. Plus, Alga is currently in the form of his life, and yes, he is. Alga's getting runs in domestic cricket. Hard not to pick him. It will be hard not to pick him. I'm just because the only then the only reason why not you don't pick him in this SA tour, because it's kind of, it would be a little bit disrespectful in a way, I guess, to, I don't know, disrespectful, but I think it will be a little bit. We know what Dean Alga gives you, um, and he's getting a hell of a lot of runs domestically. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting out the possibility of I'm just putting out that scenario and that possibility. Doesn't mean that is the situation or that is the scenario. Um, I think at the I think at the moment I've liked the opening pair of Dean and Aiden. It hasn't always worked out nicely. I mean, one or the other will score runs. I would like to see now both of them score together and put on massive totals as an opening pair. Matt 92 says, do you think Brandt will be backup spinner If not him, then who? I was thinking Jay de Klerk, but he's playing Division 2 and don't know if he is in SA20. We've got a couple of guys like I think Carl Simmons is a brilliant option because he can bat. Um, there are a couple of spinners around in domestic cricket, but there aren't many that are not in the SA20. I think majority of our good ones have already been picked up. So it's going to be an interesting couple of years when it comes to us recruiting our next spinners. Which ones are coming through the system, etc. That's something that we're going to have to look at now because Senaran Mutasami, Prenlin Zubrayan, those are guys that have consistently performed at domestic level, particularly last year when the Dolphins won it. Those are guys that really put up their hands and performed um, extremely well, but they will be in the SA20. So we miss out on them with regards to that. And when you look at this season and you look at who the top wicket takers are, Bjorn Vertain also, he's currently on 12 wickets already in 2 matches. So um, it's something that I think South Africa does need to work on, producing more capable spinners that can make that step up because Bjorn Fortuin is is going to be in the SA20. He's a key player for his side in the SA20. And then Carl Simmons, I think Carl Simmons is another one that has been doing extremely well over a period of time. Um, that I think needs to be also be, you know, kept in the loop because I know he's in place of George Linder, but every single time the guy gets an opportunity, he impresses. Then you obviously got Sia Bonga Mahima, but we want to obviously see a little bit more consistency from Sia um, to see if he can maintain his wicket taking form when he does perform well. But when you go through the list of bowlers and you try to see who are the bowlers that are taking wickets, there aren't many spinners on the list. At least this season there hasn't been many. So it does make it tough. Like I said, last season was probably your best season that you could probably see. Um, Last season was probably the best season where you could see who are the players that which spinners are doing well and in the tournament because it was a season where spin kind of dominated. Other than Bayer Swanepoel running freely at the top there with his swing bowling with 33 wickets, you had the spinners that were dominating. So Brian, Keshav, Smuts, Fortain made up the rest of the top five. So Harmer was in the number seven at the number seven spot. He's actually tied sixth with Sipamla and Bjorn Hendricks. When you look down the list, then Senator Mutasami is on the list. All of these players are T20 players. Then you have Tsepo and Dwandwa, who I think is someone to look out for at the Warriors. He had a very good season last season, and we're hoping that he can obviously um, do have a similar season and keep that going. Carl Simmons also on the list of the year with 12 wickets in 4 matches last season. So, and then obviously George Linder, but they all part, Carl Simmons as well as George Linder are part of the SA20 as well. So there aren't many spinners available that are playing domestic um, Division 1 cricket. That is the concern at the moment. Um, we need, uh, and I know our wickets aren't always conducive for spin. But it's something that I do think we need to work on, particularly wrist spinners. I think that is something as well. Why is Tele not in the picture for SAA? I think he did get, I think he got a, is it 20 gig, if I'm not mistaken? Not 100% sure, but I think he did. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that. I'm gonna have to check that list again. I can't find the list of all the full teams. Um, let me see quickly. Um, Durban. Uh, Not there. Joburg Super Kings. I don't think he's there. Um, in my Cape Town. When was this? Is this last Joburg Super Kings in my Cape Town? No, he's not. He won't be here because I know this team. Paul Royals. I don't think he got picked up. Eh? I don't think he got picked up. Um, Full scores is a 20. It should be on the outside. I put it up because I still remember doing a story with you guys. Uh, I still remember doing a video with you guys with all the players that got picked up, um, all the signings. I don't know why I think I saw his name somewhere. I know he played in the emerging side in the emerging series. Yeah, I don't think he did get picked up, guys. Um, I'm sorry, I don't know why I saw his name. For some reason, I think I'm going bonkers. Um, I think I might be going bonkers. Yeah, he's another name that should be in and around, but he was in the emerging side, so that's probably why. Alga still has a lot to give the test side. Alga is clearly still hungry to play SA. He's one of the few loyal players out there. The fact that he's still pissed that they took the captaincy away from him says a lot about his passion. I'm not doubting him. I'm not doubting Alga at all. I was just putting. I was, yeah. Maybe yeah. I'm just putting out every single type of possibility that could possibly happen. Moving forward. Um, it doesn't seem like that Dex doesn't. Neil Brandt is better than Mutasami, says Dex. We are really blessed to have Keshav and Harmer at the moment. We are. If Alga is not part of Shukri's plans, then Brandt will obviously make his debut as captain, as he's currently doing the job for SAA with Tony DeZorzi, KP playing. Maybe Pete or Dwan Urifir, but can't see it. Hollywood Alga Pamla and Steerman get picked for the test squad. I don't, bro, I don't know. I'm not the coach. Um, so we're gonna have to wait and see. I know that Lucas Pamla's been injured for a while. I think the last time he played, I checked early on. The last time that Luto played was in March, I think. No, sorry, in June. 19th of June was the last time he played SAA versus Sri Lanka A. Um, and before that SAA series, the last time he played was obviously March, because obviously that's winter period. So the last time he played was in June in the Sri Lanka tour, and he hasn't played for the Lions this season yet. So it is something that is a worry. Um, Steerban is back from he's been back for a while now, playing a couple of list day games and now 4-day cricket, so he's getting back into the swing of things. Matt92 says it's unfortunate Rudy Second wasn't selected for this West Indies series. He should be in contention for New Zealand. Good with the bat experience and can keep wicket, says Matt. Yeah, Rudy Seconds hasn't been in the talk for quite some time. Um, any possibility of Bellingham selection for New Zealand series? I think it's highly likely. Tex says he likes Sipamla. Lorenzo, not to be rude, Khalid, I knew this was going to come. I just knew this, this was going to come. Not to be rude, Khalid, but Bahima needs to work harder on his fitness to become leaner. He's very much clearly overweight. Can't have an unfit player playing international cricket. Look at Bangala. Mahima needs to get fit in the gym first, says Dex. Matt92 says, is a brain injured? I haven't seen featured for the Dolphins this season. Um, oh, that's a good question. A very good question. Let's have a look. No, he's played. He played against Boland Northwestern Lions this season. Last game was 27th of September. So he hasn't played since then. So it's a possibility. But it also could be team makeup. But I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Um, to be fair, Kashile had many opportunities and did not take them. He's a wonderful talent, but unfortunately, Coach Ukri just don't rate him that much. Plus, to be honest, Clairefontaine, he has been doing better than him, says Lorenzo. Yeah, we need to see a little bit more consistency from Kashile and conversions. I want to see him convert his 50s into hundreds consistently. That's what we need from someone like Kashile. More regular 50s, more regular conversions as well. Saif says Temba still captain. Yes, he is captain of the test team, but he won't be for New Zealand because he won't be there. What Pavuma is saying that he will not resign from his captaincy. He should learn from Baba Razam. He did also leave his captaincy despite scoring more runs than Temba, says Aruna. Whitehead would be a good spinner to pick alongside Pitt, but Whitehead hasn't played for the Warriors this season, unfortunately. Matt says, is Whitehead not in Division 2? What did he get picked by the? Did he get picked up by the Warriors this season? Two match India SA Test series doesn't sound good. Who is the favorite to win that one? SA. I hope it's SA. You can never count out India. They always bring their A game when they play us. So it's always a tough match and series. Luther made a return to cricket last week for Lions Colts, but you correct Khalid, haven't played competitive cricket for a while, so young, uh, yet so riddled with injuries. That's been his biggest problem. Luto, is the injuries. I think it not only did it affect his career, but I also think it affected his speed to a degree. Um, because I thought, for me personally, I saw Luto when Luto was younger. He seemed a lot quicker um, than he was when he came and made his debut for South Africa, etc. And started playing for the Warriors when he was a youngster, under 19, etc. He looked a lot quicker, but maybe that is just because he's playing against age group cricketers, and perhaps it's just looked that way. But if I, from by seeing him play with the eye, he seemed a lot quicker than what the speed gun suggested. Um, but I think injuries did hamper him a bit. It did hamper his career so far. Luto has one of the best bowling actions, to be honest with you. Like, his bowling action is beautiful. Like the run up to the wicket, the follow through and everything. The poise that he has, the way he lifts his elbow, everything. He has a beautiful posture when he bowls. A very good action. Um, I wish he had a couple of extra Ks on him when it comes to speed. A lot of memes is going about what he said on social media, says Aruna. I think what Temba said should be unpacked. He said a lot of things that worries me. Sense of entitlement comes across, to be honest. Let's have a listen. I think I saw a video on Twitter. Oh, I'm sorry, on X. Still called Twitter though. .com. Um, I was not typing instead of Temba Bavuma. Um, let me see. Let me see. I think it's this video over here, so I'm going to first share it with you guys. Um, let's have a listen.
I mean, I'm there as the captain, and I'm there as obviously the batsman point of view. So I think for me, I've always tried to separate the two. I don't know what the metric is to judge someone if he's captaining well. He won the most games in the group stages that any South African team as well. We beat teams that haven't been beaten in quite a while at World Cup. So, what metric are we going to use to judge whether the guy is doing this job as a captain? As a batter, I mean, that I'm not oblivious to. I wasn't pulling my weight from that point of view. But I guess you take a lot of confidence in the fact that I was involved in a lot of partnerships at the top. That's one of my roles within the team. And you had a lot of the guys who were, I guess, taking on that extra responsibility from a runs point of view. Um,
So just to stop there quickly, I mean, he isn't incorrect in saying that his captaincy, um, that he did a couple of things that other Proteas captains didn't do, beating certain teams that didn't. That I mean, he's speaking facts there. But to me, you can't only in cricket, you can't only be a good captain on the field alone. You also need to step up with the bat too. Yes, the captaincy role is very important within cricket, and who you pick as your captain is very important to take matches forward. But you do also need to perform with the bat, and he was accountable for that. He said that he needs to be better. He had to be better with the bat. He's not oblivious to that. Um, he is aware that he didn't perform with the bat, so that's a good thing. At least that honesty is there.
Me to step to step down in the World Cup in the semi-final. That thought for me is it's strange. I'm not someone that's going to walk away from from adversity. I'm not someone that's going to answer to calls from people shouting on Twitter or Facebook. That I'm not going to do. Decisions that I make will always be for the betterment of the team. And I've always said it from the beginning. Me being within the team, me having the responsibility as a captain, I'll only do it as long as the players feel that. This is a bunch of guys who've been with each other since 2020. We know each other through and through. We know what we play for. And if any guy stood up there and said, Timber, you're not the man for the job, then I'd happily walk away.
So that's very important over there, and I don't think that's very self. I think that's unselfish from Temba. The easiest thing for him to do would have been to step away from the captaincy, and that would have been the easier thing for him to do. I think to step away from it because everybody was shouting it, and it was the obvious thing for certain people that were calling for him to step away. He tried. He put. F- he said he will never do something that isn't for the betterment of the team. And if any player feels that he shouldn't be captain and they stepped up and said that he shouldn't, he would step away. So this is clearly not a decision that Timba's making on his own. It's clearly a decision that is made by the players as well as the staff have decided that this is the man that they want as their captain. So I'm pretty sure that if there was amongst the dressing room a concern about Temba and people didn't want him as a captain, they would step up and say, and then he would obviously, then I think, like he said, he would step down. Let me continue.
Not the guy that's on Twitter or on Facebook. With regards to the injury, yes, I wasn't 100%. But I think if you know anything about professional cricket, you know that guys don't play cricket at 100% all the time. I played games for the country with broken fingers. Done well. People have never questioned that. I've played series with groin injuries. Done well. That's never been questioned. So for that to be used as an excuse for possibly our exit within the competition, that's crazy. With all due respect, I think there's a lot of positives that this group has achieved. There's a lot of good things that I've done as well as a player. So when we start throwing stats around, then let's put things into a proper perspective. And I think even you guys asking those questions should also make that clear as well. We can't go and read something on social media and make it a headline type of thing. But yeah, I would never consider that stepping down in a semi-final game. That I would never consider.
Yeah, so when he's talking about stepping down, he specifically mentioned, because I know now journalists and publications like to twist people's words. He specifically said he was never considering stepping down in the semi-final. That was something that he specifically mentioned in that semi-final. He mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, where he said that if players wanted him out and didn't want him to be captain, he would step down as he would step down as captain if that's what the staff wants, if that's what the coach wants, if that's what the players want. So I don't see that as selfish at all. That what he said there, I think he was brutally honest about the situation and the scenario. If you were, I mean, it is quite crazy to expect a guy that captained a team, or who is the appointed captain of the team, to not want to be out there in the middle. It would be, it's crazy. And I know from a form perspective with the bat and Riza being the player that he is, etc. I get that. That would be, from a form perspective, that would have been the right thing to do if he was in 100%. Like I said, in the previews, I said if Temba's not 100%, he shouldn't play. If he doesn't feel 100%, if he's feeling that he's a little bit that he's injured, etc., that he maybe can't run between the wickets, etc., and can't put in a job for his country, then um, then maybe he should not play that semi-final for the betterment of the team. But as he said in that particular, the problem is that it backfired in a way because he wanted to be there for the betterment of the team, and his performance with the bat actually put the team in a very difficult position, and we ended up losing the match. And it's not only his fault. I think it's the entire top four. But he was one of those players that didn't contribute with the bat. But I was impressed with his captaincy. To try with the effort to try and defend that total, I definitely was impressed with his captaincy. But we need him to perform with the bat as well. That's the definite thing, and he admitted that as well. Obviously, he'll have a better records than other captains as the format changed. So way more pool games. Yeah, of course, but not also maybe not. He could have lost those. He could have lost games. We could have had a 2019 campaign. Aiden also beat England in the World Cup after a long time. Any update on Anik Nokia? Will he play in India series? I think he will, but I haven't spoken to Andrich, so I must maybe check up and see what's happening there. Players won't say that Temba to step down. I feel that players would if they felt that he should. I think this group of Proteas players are very honest and very close. I think they have created a team culture where they do speak up about certain things and express their views. At least that's what the feeling that I've gotten from talking to players, etc., and being around training, the training sessions and stuff. It does seem that they have a type of um, relationship and group and ethos where they feel they can speak up. Lorenzo says in two games as captain, Markram scored 190 and won both games. So this captaincy thing is stretched in my opinion. People only use it as a mechanism to defend him as he couldn't get the runs he needed. I don't think so. I don't think so. To be honest, I'm not using it to defend him. I think that he is a good captain. And so is Aiden. They both are. If Temba would have been dropped himself in semis, it would have been blessing for South Africa. And inform Riza was warming the bench. Basically, South Africa is happy to play with 10 players and one captain. I always said Temba was going to play even before the injury. Temba gave ammunition by saying he isn't fit in both the presser and at the toss. That should have been managed better. 100% correct, Lawrence. I don't know why he said what he said. I don't know why he came out and said that to the media. He can't be upset then with the media asking questions because he said it in the press conference. I mean, that he isn't. And I know he's an honest guy and he wants to be open and honest, but that could have been managed a lot better, I do feel. Are we forgetting what he said at the toss about fitness? Isn't that selfish then? If that's not, then I don't know anymore. Why is it selfish if you're putting yourself at risk for your country and your team? When Graham Smith went out to bat, okay, now I know he got injured with a broken hand, he got injured into them in the match. But when players do that, play with niggles, players do that. There has been instances of that happening. Um, so the coach believed he would score runs, and he believed he could score runs. Like I said, I don't agree with players playing with injuries because it can get aggravated and it can get worse. Um, and there's a risk involved with regards to whether you can, because you don't know whether you're going to be able to run in the middle until you're in the middle. I mean, yes, you can do some warm ups before the game, but in that intensity moment when the adrenaline's pumping and all of those type of things, and you need to make a quick sprint that's maybe a little faster than what you can practice in a warm up, and you pull something and you're out. It puts your team in a bad situation. But the reality is that players do play with injuries. That is a reality. There are players out there that do that. There's captains that do that. That's what I've been telling everyone. The players and the staff knows he's captain. Besides what we think, his scores was below average 50 plus ODI, but his impact in the team is important. And he had a terrible tournament. Him to have, to be honest, I didn't expect him to have such a poor tournament. I thought that at least he'll get a couple of 40s and 50s um, minimum in this tournament. I think that his tournament was interrupted a lot with coming back home and then missing the warm ups and then coming back into the side and then getting sick and then coming back. That can't be good for your rhythm and your mentality and etc. So that's not an excuse though. Like we need him to score runs and he had a poor tournament and there's no other way to hide from that. What about Aiden's captaincy against England after our loss against the Dutch? It was brilliant and I do like Aiden as a captain. I've always wanted Aiden to be the captain of the Proteas. He was always my first choice as captain for the Proteas. And but based on what players told me about Temba, I can't deny what they're telling me. Otherwise I have to accuse them all as being liars. But from what players have told me in interviews, in conversations, coaches, what the cricket public, what the cricket environment says about Temba Bavuma as a cricketer and as a captain, it's contrasting to what the fans think of him. Um, so it makes it hard for me because I'm kind of in the middle between the two. Because I've seen some great performances from Temba and I've seen some great captaincy performance and I've seen some terrible ones. But so have I seen that from every other player too. So I've seen some terrible AB performances as a captain. Um, I've seen quite a few. Um, and I've seen some great performances. So, I mean, it's sport. That's sport for you. But I do think that Timber does get unnecessary, like, criticism. Like, it is blown out of proportion. On at least on social media. I mean, so much so that journalists are actually, which never happened before, by the way, guys. He's getting so much attention on social media that negative um, slander on social media that journalists are even asking questions about that in their press conferences, which never happened before. Isha should consider Nande Burger for India series. KG needs to rest for the test matches, says Captain. Matt94 says Pavuma had credit in the back going into the World Cup. He done well in the Australia series. Temba isn't the first, nor will be the last SA captain that will face the wrath of the media and fans. Ask Pollock, Smith, and AB. Pollock got it rough in 2003, but there was no social media back then. So I know they got it rough, but it was nowhere near as much as what Temba is getting. Let's be honest at least about that, guys. It's shameful that not even after 20 years of the ICC event, not one trophy. He's sad. Learn something from the Aussies, make players adaptable to play at any position and with game awareness. It's not that easy. Otherwise, other teams would win would be 6 times champions instead of Australia. Um, there is definitely something that Australia is doing that is different, that is far beyond what any other team is doing. Like, it's easy to say just learn something from Australia, but clearly not only South Africa needs to learn from Australia. They've been 6 times champions. That means that other teams also lost out on finals and champions, on being the champion because they've won majority of the trophies. So literally everybody in cricket has to learn from Australia. Khan is selfish because he wanted to be the winning captain instead of Aiden. I don't agree with that. We won the 1998 Champions Trophy. Selfish because there was a player on the bench in form. Plus, the Smith thing can't be used as it's two completely different situations. So not comparable. No, it's not comparable. That's why when I was speaking about it, I said it's not the same situation really. Um, so you can't really compare the two. But there has been cases within world cricket where it's happened. I can't put my finger on every single. We don't always hear about it um, in the public space. We don't always hear about these things. The future looks bright for South Africa. Miller, Rassi, Temba, Kesha. That's why I said, like, I don't know why Temba said it in the presser, because I don't. Teams don't. Captains won't normally speak about that. Um, why do we select a squad can't only be used as cover for injuries? A squad should be used for both injuries and players who struggle for form. In cricket, it's mainly used for injuries. Like if you look around, like look at India, they barely changed their team. Um, Form is important, yes. But as you can see, but you, Lorenzo, I know you will know this more than anybody. Um, that in cricket you can be crap one day and then the next day you can just turn it on and you go on a run. And let's be honest about one thing. And I agree with Rob on this because I see the same thing on my reviews shows. There were a couple of games where Temba looked like he was on the verge of going, on the verge of scoring, and then he threw his wicket away. So when you look at it from a coach's perspective, and you say, okay, my captain is who averaged 50 before this World Cup, or 80 as an opener, he's looking like he's on the verge of scoring big runs. You're going to put your belief in that player and say, I believe that he's going to turn the corner and it's going to come. Unfortunately, it did, and it was a risk that they made that didn't pay off. But those are risks that you're going to take, um, especially when the average of one player is 80 and the other average of the other player is like 20 odd. And I know Riza is in incredible form, and I would have loved to see him play and get another opportunity to play and show us that he had one good performance and one bad performance. So it's just an unfortunate situation. Um, what I don't agree is that you shouldn't pick a player just only based on captaincy. Last T20 World Cup was the T20 World Cup was unacceptable, but but we can't look at we can't put the T20 World Cup and the ODI World Cup in the same bracket, because I don't believe that Temba should have played in the T20 World Cup period, because there were from a T20 cricket perspective, he isn't the best batter in T20 cricket in South Africa. But in the ODIs leading up, and I know it was at home, but it wasn't in the easiest of conditions at home either. It's not like we played on batting paradises here in South Africa. Even the the wickets weren't necessarily very easy to bat on, um, and he performed. And I know it's in South Africa, and we take that into consideration. But if he didn't score runs, you wouldn't pick him. So if he scores runs, you have to pick him. I mean, it is what it is. But in ODIs, he deserved to be in the squad. T20s is a different story altogether. I understand the criticism Temba is facing, but we also need to take into account that in important series against England and Netherlands, when we weren't even sure of qualifications, he was phenomenal. Exactly. That's exactly true. um, Lawrence, I agree, Khalid. He does get a lot of unnecessary attention. I don't think that can be denied. Timber in that interview also spoke about how captain can want to play, how captaincy can what wear a player down. Hope you'll be fine. Yeah. There's no excuses. Like, I just want to make it very clear. There are no excuses for the way he performed with the bat in this ODI series. I mean, in this World Cup. Even he said it. Even Rob said it. I'm saying it, that he needed to be better with the bat. There's no denying that whatsoever. I'm just saying that it isn't black and white when it comes to the selection. That's what I'm saying. They took from what I'm saying is I can understand their point of view. I can understand what they are, why they struggled to make the decision to leave him out of the team. That's what I'm that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying necessarily that I agree with it. Like, I don't think that he should have played if he wasn't 100% fit. I said that in my preview. But I'm not going to slate Temba if he gets selected and he plays, because it's not his fault. At the end of the day, it's not his fault if he gets selected. The coach needs to make that final decision, and he has the final decision. So, yeah. Anil says, I agree with AB on the recent views, but Temba should have put the team first if he knew his injury and his form wasn't 100%. So, from that video that we just watched, and from the presser, it seems like Temba felt that he was putting the team first by playing. That's his view. So, I don't know. Make of that what you want to make of that. What people seem to forget is that this is the second time the same thing happened in a space of 2 ICC events, and I think that's why people is a bit peeved, as the same movie has been witnessed twice now. But it's not the same movie. That's my point. Like, the one is a sitcom and the one is a comedy and the one is a drama or action film. The T20 World Cup and the ODI World Cup can't be looked at as the same way, uh, in my opinion. Khalid, you believe or not, but facts is SA always play 10-man squad because of Temba, but I don't agree with that. That's a bit harsh on him. Riza average is 30 is due to mainly his performance before 2019. He currently have a good average in the last 2 years, but Temba's average is better. That's so, like, that's Temba's average is better, and Riza's playing in the same places that Temba's playing. I mean, it's not like Temba only playing South Africa and the rest of the batters are all playing all overseas. Like, what you want us to do when it comes to the selection? I know people are using like the whole but he only bats in South Africa as the excuse. But the last year we mainly played in South Africa. What else are we going to pick from? Everybody's playing in South Africa, and out of all the players that played in South Africa, he had the best average. So, like, I don't know what else people want us to do. Send Temba alone overseas to go play for India in India, or play Australia in India. Like, no, like, you could only pick with what you had. Um, you can't win a World Cup with only 5 batters. Iskani saying the same thing. And the way Boucher talked up Temba in the T20 World Cup would also not be forgotten. So, in my opinion, he was good enough to perform, but he did not. So, we can't say it doesn't count. We can't just praise captaincy. And we can't just praise captaincy. And that's why I'm saying he performed poorly. But the evidence suggested that he would have a decent World Cup based on the average. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Whereas in the T20, I don't know if you guys remember, but when we did the shows on Temba when he got selected as a captain for the T20 World Cup, I wasn't very pleased about it. I don't know if you guys remember this, but for both World Cups, I wasn't very pleased about the fact that he was selected as the captain, because I didn't believe that his performances warranted his selection in the team, full stop, from a T20 World Cup perspective. But for the ODIs, it's a different story, because his performances did warrant it. He was a big part of the reason why we qualified for the World Cup in the first place. We were going to end up playing qualifiers. Remember how angry we all were here that South Africa was going to play qualifiers and how embarrassing it would be. And then only towards when it was starting to become a reality that we could possibly play qualifiers, did we all try to see the positive in it and say, you know what, maybe qualifiers will be good for us, it will give us momentum for the World Cup and all, etc., 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 to try and spin a positive on it. But it would have been embarrassing if we had to play qualifiers, and Temba got us out of that. So it's like I don't know, it's like a difficult scenario. Khalid, my comment was more talking on the mental side of things. Hence, I said, I hope you'll be fine because it can't be a good space to be in right now with all the criticism he's getting. Yeah, no, I just couldn't figure out what you meant with the word. You meant he was being worn. He was being worn down by the captaincy. Like I understood now what you meant. So yeah, I get it, and I don't know how he does it. To be 100% honest with you, I've seen those comments. I remember there was a period where I was getting death threats and people saying extremely mean stuff in the comments to me on Facebook, and I was getting like crazy DMs from people because of some of the opinions that I had about a certain player that I don't want to really mention now. And mine wasn't even half as bad. It was not even a quarter, but not even a third, not even an eighth as bad or 16th as bad as what Timba's getting. Like I got a couple, maybe 20, 10, 12, that I would say that I can remember. It was tough to go through that, to hear things getting being said about you, um, that people can go through that lengths of like that low can get that low and say certain things about you that devastating. Like the stuff I was told was quite sickening actually, and I was like, I'm not even famous. Like I'm not even a person that a lot of people knows about. I'm a small publication, small YouTube channel, and yet I'm getting this type of death threats for stupid crap, and I'm like, and it made me feel a certain type of way. I was like, imagine where you're trending on Twitter and there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people. You can't escape it. Like you have to put it on of your phone, literally. Because I can guarantee you, even if he does stay off social media, you'll get WhatsApps or you'll get messages. Have you seen that? Have you seen this? Have you heard this? So you can't escape it. You'll probably get phone calls. Like there's no way to escape it. So like, yeah, it's mad. If anything, Riza shouldn't have been selected for the World Cup. Navneet Sistrale, brother, do you think we have to learn from the T20 World Cup 2022 defeat to the Netherlands? Because KJ and Quinny is still playing the T20 cricket. They need to learn from it. There, I was angry after that game. I get the uproar of Temba in the T20 World Cup. He was struggling in the entire series we played in India, and we were justified that he was selected. But it seems like some fans wants to make as if he's bad ODI batsman. We're so far away from the truth, which is true. That's spot on there. Bavuma deserves his place in the ODIs, says Matt. From almost not qualifying automatically to a World Cup semi is a good achievement in the space of a year. And it just went terribly for him. Like, like I fully understand in the T20s World Cup, right? When Temba wasn't performing and he was failing after game, then you need to bring Riza into that team. Because I mean, in my mind, I was getting a bit irritated by that because I'm like, G was like, you got a guy that's there that is averaging and scoring runs of game after game after game after game. He doesn't stop scoring in the T20 format. And his average is high. It's a no-brainer. Bring him in because Riza's average suggests that he's going to score runs because that's what his average suggests. Bavuma's average suggested that a knock was around the corner, and I really thought that 36 that he went out, I can't remember against who it was. I think it was against Australia the first time. I really thought that was going to be the moment where his tournament was going to turn around because he was looking so good for that 36. He was hitting the ball perfectly, he was timing it beautifully. And I feel like he puts too much pressure and the world on his shoulders to perform at a certain rate, especially when Quinn is going slower at the other end. I feel like he feels that he needs to accelerate the game. And I think that's unselfish batting, to be honest with you. He could easily just become going to his shell and just play his natural game and not try to put the team into a good position. So, like, I'm trying to look at it without bias, kind of. Um, his average suggested that he would turn things around and he didn't. So it backfired. Um, but like I said, if he wasn't feeling 100% fit and he wasn't feeling good enough to be able to run between the wickets, etc., he shouldn't have played. That's what I feel. But I think that the way we look at things in the World Cup has in this World Cup has to be different in the T20 World Cup. Make no mistake, oopsie. Lorenzo says Markram class and Nokia also helped us massively in qualifying, not just the captain alone, complete as it's completely not true. And make no mistake, if what happens to Aiden, what happened to Temba this World Cup, I'll have the same energy. That's why I don't have favorite, as I criticize for cricket reasons. I never get personal, and I 100% agree with Lorenzo. You don't get personal. That's and I have to commend all of you guys in the live chat. I've been very, very pleased with the way we've handled the criticism, the way we've portrayed ourselves in the live chat throughout this World Cup when it came to criticizing certain things. I feel that we did it in a fair manner. Feel that all of you guys did it in a fair manner, and I might not agree I might not agree with everything that everybody says, but that's what this platform is all about. We're supposed to be able to see other people's point of view. And Lorenzo, 100%, I can see your point of view. I fully get it. And especially when you are a fan of Riza Hendricks, and I know you're not a specific fan of specific players, but I can see your point of view 100%. But I can also see the coach's point of view. So like that's why I feel in the middle, because it's very difficult for me to pick a side when it comes to this particular scenario, because there's so many. Either way, it's a risk, in my opinion. There is no 100% foolproof choice. I hope the Dutch is not in our pool for next year World Cup. Yeah, I got what you said there. Navni Khalid, bro, do you think Wayne Parnell deserves to place in the SA20 team? Because I don't think his batting is not good. Wayne Parnell's an interesting one. I think he's currently injured. He hasn't played at all for Western Province. So, yeah, I guess we have to see how you see, I don't often just say player X doesn't deserve to be in the team. Whenever I make an opinion about a player, it's never based on a player and what I think about the player as a whole. It's about there's a lot of factors I take into consideration. I'm not a person that picks favorites and tries to um, be unbiased when it comes to, or I try to be unbiased when it comes to my opinion on players. I try to look at all the factors involved. For example, how did they do over the last year? Are they currently in form? Are they currently not in form? The way they are batting, are they looking explosive? Are they looking comfortable? Are they looking confident with their batting ability? Or they're scraping through in a situation? If they're an opener, are they at the moment, are they getting runs consistently over a period of time? If they're a bowler, are they looking out of rhythm, or are they looking like they're flowing through their overs? Like I said about Ngidi in the World Cup, he was starting to look a little bit um, fatigued and stuff very quickly in certain games. Which Gerald was obviously younger, fitter, steaming in regularly. So going with Gerald was the right option, and That's what the coach decided. So when I look at certain situations, I try to look at all the aspects when it comes to the player. I mean, you guys know that I've been a big Markram fan, and there was a period that I felt that Markram needed to be dropped, go back to domestic cricket, get his runs back, and then come back into the team. He did it so, and there we go. He's been a mainstay ever since. Markram was back through back through in ODIs through a very difficult patch. They consistently picked him and pushed him because they probably could see that it wasn't an ability thing, it was something else, um, that that was blocking him. Now it's the same with Temba. This World Cup, it wasn't a. I honestly thought it was going to turn around based on his performances. It wasn't an ability thing. It was purely, I feel, a mental thing. Making the wrong decisions with the bat at the wrong times. Even after a bad World Cup, Bavuma's numbers are still good, which says a lot about his ODI career, says Matt92. Lorenzo, I'm glad you understand Khalid. As you know by now, I will never get personal when it comes to players. I just don't like how some people, not you, have a set of standards for player, but not for the other. Yeah, but that's going to be the when it comes to fans, and that's something that I've learned about ever since I started this channel, ever since I started doing fan cams and speaking to fans. It's like this in any sport, whether it's rugby, football, cricket, whatever you support. There's always going to be a group of fans that um, support a team or support a sport because of a player and not because of the team. So fans will have their favorites and they're going to back them no matter what. A plain and simple example of that is Messi versus Ronaldo. It's the most common one, that is visible in the whole entire world for everybody to be able to see. People will support Messi, and no matter how what he does, and people will support Ronaldo no matter or how he does. So like there is a craze about it, about those two players, and they clash. The fans groups of Messi versus the fan groups of Ronaldo, they clash with each other. So when your fans are loyal to the players that they support, and then you got us fans that are neutrals that don't necessarily support one player blindly. We support the team as a whole, and we want what's best for the team. Um, and I call that a fanatic. And I think we're building a great community over here of people that think that way. And you, the masses aren't going to think that way. Unfortunately, that is just the way it is. Um, I'm just happy that the Premier League kicks off again this weekend. Hate international break, big game starts to start the weekend off. For example, what Seppo said the other day on this platform for me was absolutely shocking when he said that as long as we win, Temba don't have to score runs yet, but others can be criticized. Yeah, I think I did say I didn't agree with that as well on the show. Do you think Ngidi needs to be dropped for ODIs? His form has been concerning even pre-World Cup, but dropped for when? You mean for the India series, from the squad completely? I think we have to see how fit Lungi is. To be honest, if Lungi is not 100% fit, when Lungi is 100% fit, he's he's a bloody good bowler. When he's when he's running in smoothly and he's 100%, he doesn't have niggles and stuff. He's dangerous. Um, who's better than Lungi? Upcoming new faces. You see, it's very difficult. Very difficult. I just want to explain this to say whether a player is better than someone or not when it comes to like a domestic player and an international player. Like my brain just doesn't want to do that correlation. I'm sorry, like I can't, because playing at international level is such a big step up. And Ngidi's proven himself in international cricket. Yes, he's played poorly in certain games, but he's also played fantastically in certain games. Um, and he's looked great, but he's done it at an international level. He cleans up when he goes to domestic. So for me to look at a player at the domestic level and then say he's better than him, I can't do it. It's like it's like me saying I see someone in the Europa League. I mean, from a football perspective, I see someone in the Europa League and I say, "Oh no, he's better than someone that's playing in the Champions League." They got the same amount of goals. They both scored like say one guy has 13 goals and another guy has 12, or one has 13 assists and the other one has 12 assists. Um, you're not going to just look at the stats and say, okay, cool, he's better than X. You're going to have to look at a lot of other factors: the pressure he played under, the opponents that he's played against, which bowlers he's bowling at, which wickets he took, how he took his wickets. Um, all of those things need to be taken into consideration as well. Not just, okay, this guy's got 33 wickets and at an average of whatever at an economy for Western Province or Lions or Titans, whoever, he must be better than the guy that's doing poorly now in the national level. It's we need to look a lot deeper at that when we say those type of things. Decided for India series and SA20 going to be a blast. We are going to make those Indians cry in that series, says Kani. Yo, it's going to be a hectic December, January, February for me. It's going to be insane. And I tell you this, and I tell it to his face also. That's the one thing I never expected to hear from a knowledgeable cricket fan like him. Matt 92 for ODI squad. Yes, yeah, answer it. In Gide's fitness is concerned, it is currently a concern. Uh, Giri shouldn't play tests, guys. Not fit. Nandeberger, the Pavlin are good. I feel Giri is good in T20s, says Matt 92. Um, yeah, so let's see what happens with the squad and who gets selected. It's crazy because I think injuries has just hampered Ngidi. It's really slowed his career down a lot. Because I mean, I feel that he started with a bang in international cricket. 6-4 against India, like at Centurion. He was phenomenal in that series. And then he started to get a lot of injuries that set him back, put him out of ability to be able to train. He picked up some weight, lost the weight, all of those type of things. So it was very concerning. Um, so that's very concerning for me. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to obviously subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. And I'd also like you guys to please download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. Smash the like button, comment, and share, please, as well. I've been your host, Khalid. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Peace out, everyone. See you guys soon.